Today, we are diving deep into a single, really powerful poem. It's one that walks us through this incredible journey of fear and isolation and ultimately profound healing. It's all about rediscovering a part of ourselves we might have forgotten was even there. So, let's get into it. So, we're actually going to start at the very end. The entire poem builds to this one single line. Now, I know it sounds like a riddle, right? But trust me, it's the key that unlocks the whole story. And today, we're going to figure it out together. So this is our big question. What does it really mean to know that trees can talk? And this isn't about some fantasy story. It's about a deep, personal truth. To understand what that truth is, we have to go all the way back to the beginning of our narrator's story. Our story starts here, in a life that's really just defined by disconnection. The person telling this story is carrying around this really heavy feeling that something has always been wrong, that life is just this constant uphill battle. And this is where you can see the core conflict. On one hand, you've got this nagging sense of pain and loss, this feeling that, hey, life just shouldn't be this hard. But then on the other hand, there's this incredible, powerful resolve, a vow to never ever give in to fear again, no matter what it costs. This internal tug of war is what drives the entire journey. So you have to ask, where did this struggle even come from? Well, the narrator knows the answer is buried somewhere in the past. This line is our signal that we're about to go digging for the root of all this pain, a single moment that changed everything. And that takes us into a flashback, a really critical childhood memory that basically set the course for the rest of the narrator's life. Everything starts right here. Picture a kid totally open and connected to the world in a way that, let's be honest, most of us lose as we get older. There's this sense of wonder. But you can feel that something unexpected is about to happen. And this is it. This is the moment. A magical, kind of impossible event. An oak tree starts to sing. Now, this could have been a moment of pure wonder, right? But for this child, it becomes something else entirely. Instead of wonder, there was just fear. This deep, gut-level fear that made the child just turn and run. And that was the turning point. That was the moment fear won. And this is so important. The child wasn't just running from a strange sound. The poem tells us this was the moment they shut away their power. It was a retreat from a much deeper connection to the world, a part of themselves they just couldn't understand, and because of that, they feared it. So this brings us to the core metaphor of the whole poem. The talking trees, they're not just some fantasy. They represent that hidden, intuitive part of ourselves, that gut feeling. It's such a powerful symbol because trees are ancient, they're rooted, they seem to hold this quiet wisdom. They stand for our connection to nature, to our subconscious, to that inner voice we so often learn to silence because we're afraid of it. So what happens when you decide to shut that world out? Well, the consequences are huge. It completely reshapes how the narrator sees reality for years and years to come. I mean, just look at how the world transforms. The trees, like could have been a source of magic, are now seen as angry, watchful, mocking. They become the source of paranoia, the things that somehow stole their dreams. The magic didn't just vanish. Fear twisted it into something hostile. And this was a conscious choice. It was a survival mechanism. To cope with that deep-seated fear, the narrator chose to just stop paying attention, to slam the door on that secret world completely. And that choice? It led to a really profound and painful isolation. But the story doesn't end there, in that lonely place. We now get to the turning point, this powerful, deliberate vow to change, to start life completely over. And this isn't just some vague hope for things to get better, it's a real plan. Look at how it progresses. It starts with internal work, like rewiring your own thinking, and then moves to external actions, like giving love and sharing kindness. It's about healing from the inside out. So where does this strength to do all this hard work come from? The poem is very clear about it. It's rooted in spiritual faith. The narrator relies on the God of gods to find the power to win this internal fight. And this all leads us to the final and I think most beautiful phase of the journey, reconciliation. It's time to go back to the original source of the fear and face it head on. The symbolism here is just so powerful. Apologizing to the trees isn't really about the trees. It's about apologizing to that part of yourself that you shut away in fear all those years ago. It's about making peace with your own intuition, your own power. Ultimately, what the narrator learns is that doing things right, means carrying your truth forward, walking a new path, and finding the courage to face every single fear instead of running from it like before. And here we are, full circle. We hear the line again, but now it has a completely different weight to it, doesn't it? It's no longer a frightening mystery. It's a statement of quiet confidence, of deep self-knowledge, of a world that has been reopened. The narrator knows the trees can talk because they have finally learned how to listen again. So that leaves us with a question to think about. After seeing this whole journey from fear to acceptance, it kind of makes you wonder, what is the secret world, that intuition, that power, that bit of magic that you might have shut out in your own life?